Good evening, this is the Raleigh Water Board meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014. Time is 6:04. President Stu Dazzell, Tim Toomey, Mary Beth Weiser, and myself, Roy Ricker. Just a reminder, if I could ask everyone to please put your cell phones on vibrate. Thank you. First on the agenda, approval of the minutes. Accept and approve the minutes of November 18th, 2014 as written. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. You need to abstain, right? You came in.
Oh, that's right, too, yeah, 'cause I wasn't here.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And next we have an appointment with Michael LaFlower for the secondary operator interview.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Michael, nice to meet you.
Tim Toomey.
Nice to meet you.
Roy Ricker.
What was your name?
Roy Ricker.
Roy Ricker.
I'm Michael Scudozo.
Nice to meet you.
In your packet, you have Mr. LaFlower's resume, and also I've prepared some interview questions that the board might entertain asking.
You were hired, Michael, how long the commute you have?
It's about 45 minutes, about that. And that's all highway, I live in Rochester.
Why would you want to work for the Raleigh Water Department?
I started in Rochester water treatment plant, and I really enjoy it. I pick up on things quick, and I would actually see this as a career. I do see it as a career. It's something I really enjoy doing, and like I said, I pick it up quick. I've already had quite a few years of experience in water treatment, different facilities, different size facilities, and I feel I can bring in a lot of experience and helping hand.
These New Hampshire licenses, is that an automatic turnover to the Mass ones, or?
No, Mr. LaFleur would have to seek reciprocity in Massachusetts, which during our interview we discussed, and I believe he's in the process of gathering up his information to send the packet in. And it's just a matter of the Massachusetts Board of Licensure reviewing his packet and then sending him his Massachusetts licenses. It would be the same process that Mr. Gray went through. He also had New Hampshire licenses and sought reciprocity, and he got his. So his grade 2 licenses should transfer, which is what the position requires. Grade 2.
Comments or questions on?
The California D3 and T3 licenses, are they equivalent to the Massachusetts?
It's equivalent to the New Hampshire grade 2, which I would assume would transfer over to Massachusetts grade 2 also. For some reason, California bumps theirs up to a 3. I think they have more steps there, or more grades.
If you're offered the position, when would you be able to start?
Probably the first or second week of January.
Any other questions, Sue?
May I want to ask? So,
What makes you the best candidate for this position?
I feel like my experience, like I said earlier, I catch on to things very quickly. I take notes while I'm learning. I'm not afraid to ask questions if I'm unsure. Yeah, that's about it. I enjoy working in water treatment and the water industry.
Now, if you work with any kind of a system like this that we have,
Filtration? Yeah.
like the plant we got with the membranes and everything.
Not actually membrane. I work with conventional sand filter, carbon filter, and that was Rochester. California was similar, just on a larger scale.
Chairman Hooker, our treatment facility is considered a conventional filtration plant.
Any other questions, Aaron?
Did you go to, what schools you go to?
I took actually correspondence courses through University of California through Sacramento Office of Water Programs.
Did you go to college or anything like that?
You know, I graduated high school. I took all college prep courses, but then I didn't go to college.
I have no further questions.
Stu, you have any more?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
You've been in the water business since '09?
I think it was 2006. 2006 I started in
I'm
City
sorry,
Washington.
2006, okay. Right here. I have no further questions.
We thank you very much for coming in.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Chairman Hooker, if I may, I would like to make a recommendation to the water board to hire Mr. LaFlower to fill the open vacant secondary operator position. I interviewed him earlier last week, and his qualifications, he meets the job description qualifications. He possesses the knowledge to become a successful operator in Raleigh, and I'm okay with his tentative start date, because we did discuss that during the initial interviews. With the holidays and everything, he wanted to give his his present employer ample time to fill the position. So I'm okay with him, the start date, and I would like the board to vote tonight for me to be able to hire him. I know the board likes to see several applicants. This position, as you know, has been open and vacant since before I came on board. And we have been actively looking for applicants. We have had resumes come in. I did not bring all those candidates in for the board to interview because I wouldn't make a recommendation for you to hire them. And
No, we just like to see more than just one person.
I understand that, but they do not possess treatment plant licenses, which we cannot have operators without licenses. Michael, as you pointed out earlier, does not possess a CDL, but that's something that he can get on the job. That would be put in his letter of conditional offer, that he would have to get a CDL license by a certain date, and then the town would allow him time to, to do that. But the most important is that he has the licensing, and he's very eager. He came across to me as being extremely intelligent. I asked him several technical questions about filtration plants, and he was able to answer my questions. He even was able to do simple math on the fly, which I need a calculator, so. So I would like to make a recommendation for the board to vote tonight to allow me to hire him, to fill that position. We desperately need the people. As you saw at our last meeting, we had a violation with manganese for not sampling. You're gonna see tonight, we have other violations. The workload is up there, and things are getting missed because we just don't have the time to spend on the detailed attention. Trying to keep the treatment plant running, things are being missed. Appointments get missed, samples get missed. It's not the water department or the water board that has to deal with that. It's the town of Rowley that has to deal with all of that. So filling these open positions with qualified people, which I am confident and comfortable in saying about Michael LaFleur, I think we should hire him.
How did you advertise for this position?
It has been advertised on the town of Rowley's website, and then we put an advertisement out on New England Waterworks website, which is for those that aren't familiar with that, is a website that is well-known and well-viewed by everybody in the water business. They post all the water utility jobs, and that's where, I believe that's where Mr. LaFleur saw the advertisement.
I just see a trend here. We just have one candidate come to these meetings. The last person we hired was one person, wasn't it?
Yes.
And the person before that was one person. So
Well, you interviewed two
what's the
people.
purpose of this board? I think we need to have more candidates in here. I've been saying that for the last 6 months.
Where are you gonna get the candidates
You
from?
can advertise
I'm interviewing
You can
every single
advertise
person that comes
Advertise
in. It costs money to advertise, a
I know,
lot
but
of money.
we need to
We
look
have a
at, get a
qualified
bigger base
candidate,
of
a
candidates.
qualified candidate.
I don't want to argue
I
with you.
don't
I think
have
we need a
enough
bigger
people
base
to
of
do what I need
candidates.
to do. I need to hire this
Okay.
gentleman.
Calm down. We need to have more candidates coming.
Where would
into
you
these
like me to
positions.
get them from?
I would like you to hire
We don't have the money to hire an independent
of course we
person.
have money to hire them.
We don't. We
Yes,
don't
we-
have money in the budget to
Yeah, we
spend
can have
thousands
a
of dollars to
headhunter.
hire a
We
headhunter.
could hire a headhunter. We could hire, we could put advertisements in the Globe, Craigslist, wherever. But we need
Do
to
you know
have more
how much
candidates.
it costs to
Calm
advertise?
down now, please. We need to have more candidates in here. That's my 2 cents. We need to have more candidates in here to make selections. I think he's a fine candidate. I'm very impressed with him, but we need more candidates. Now, is it your judgment that the other candidates were no good?
They did not possess the treatment licenses. It takes 2 years to get a grade 2 license. We cannot afford to keep somebody
Okay.
on the payroll getting the same exact pay as somebody who has a T2 license.
I realize that.
We don't have entry-level positions.
Did you give the resumes to these people that didn't have licenses to any of the board members?
No.
Okay, so,
Comments?
I didn't want to waste the board's time reviewing applicants that were not qualified for the job, that possess no knowledge of drinking water treatment at all.
well, the point has been brought up, Mary Beth, that we want more candidates. So it would make sense to me to bring up more candidates, whether they're qualified or not. If they're the only candidates, they're the only candidates. But to bring one person in here for an interview, I don't think is a policy this board wants to follow. We want to see candidates in here, and we've said that a couple of times. This is the third candidate, single candidate for one position we've had in the last 6 months. You think that we'd like to have just one candidate to select from? Your recommendation is taken, very seriously, but we want to have some candidates in here to talk to. See, we want to be able to look at them.
They're not coming through the door.
They're not coming through the door, okay.
Mr.
You're
Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
I'd just like to say, part of the personnel board and the personnel officer's job is to screen applications when they come in. If they're not qualified, they're not licensed, then the applications are not gonna go beyond the personnel department at this point. Secondly, with the reputation that this water department has, with the turnover and help in the last 6, 7, 8 years, people are not lined up waiting to come to Rowley, any great numbers. It's sad that we only end up with one candidate here and one candidate there that's qualified, but as we know in the past, to get licensed people, it's a very competitive market out there.
No, I
And
realize that.
our reputation is such that, you know, as things improve over time, I'm assuming that in future vacancies we may have more candidates, but at this point in time, in looking at what's going on here, you guys are basically desperate. This board is desperately, this department in the town is desperate for some qualified candidates to get things done.
No,
There's some stuff coming up tonight from what she says that, you know, without people,
Like Tim is
you can't
saying,
do it. I understand Tim's point.
you know, I mean, at
But-
least the names, and we go over the list and look at it, you know, in between our meetings or something.
Well,
look
well,
at
the
it.
way the situation is now, if they don't, this is not just the water department, if a position is open and requires certain licenses or certain qualifications, I mean, we can get 100 candidates in here that all wanna apply for a job, but if they don't have the licenses, then it's no good to the town, it's no good to this department, it's no good to Mary Beth to get things done. So I mean, the process is that the personnel department forwards those qualified candidates to the superintendent. If you only got one, I'm sorry, but that's all we got, and this position's been advertised for, as she says, a number of months, and we don't have a lot of people lining up. So let's take what we can get, move on, and then as the future moves, hopefully things will get better. But right now, licensed candidates to work in water departments are few and far between.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. See 3 candidates on the table here. I realized what Mary Beth is up against. She needs help.
So do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, how many candidates have have come in as secondary water operators? How many candidates have come before you, just giving you papers and saying that they want this?
About 8.
About 8.
We had several,
Out of those 8, how many had licenses?
all of them.
They all,
But what happened was, we had a candidate coming in for an interview, and he backed out at the last minute.
okay,
We had another candidate who wasn't interested, but because we took so long, he had taken a job somewhere else.
okay.
So it wasn't that there was just the one. As the qualified candidates are coming in, we're bringing them before the board, or I'm asking them to come for the second interview with the board, and they've decided not to, for one reason or another. Mr. LaFleur chose to come in tonight, and I feel he's qualified, and I think the board should vote to let me hire him.
Now, from what I've read, we have some violations.
Yes.
And we need, this water department needs a licensed secondary operator.
Yes.
And we really need that. I was alarmed what I read, frankly, about the violations. We have a candidate coming in here tonight and has a license and as a secondary operator. I think I would say, well, I'll put in my words instead of Mr. Peterson's, but beggars can't be choosers. And right now, we need a qualified candidate in this to test this water. I'm very concerned.
As either one of you, I am.
I'm gonna abstain because I think that we could have had more resumes on the table. We could have had more input from the personnel. Is the personnel board that screened this? Was there a screening committee?
Oh, the personnel officer does the screening.
Okay, so the
And-
personnel office did a
And
screening.
between her and the staff, they look through the resumes, and if they're not licensed at this point, they're not brought forward, or other
Well,
qualifications.
this gentleman doesn't have a license either. He has to go
No,
get
but-
reciprocity.
He has a license, it
He
just
has
needs
valid
to,
licenses, they're
it needs
valid.
to be transferred. I mean, I could come in here and probably look great in an interview, but if I haven't got the licenses, what good am I gonna be to you? This is the point where I don't know, I seem to miss something, but when we read the water reports and the DEP and trying to get, we have an emergency here. This isn't a matter of, yeah, I'd like to see 3 candidates or 5 candidates. We have an emergency. We have a man that can help us, on paper anyway, and through the interview process, that's qualified to help us get through this emergency. Let's hire him. I mean, just to bring 2 more people in here so you can sit here and say, well, we interviewed 3 candidates, you're wasting everybody's time. I mean, if we had 5 candidates, we'd love to have 5 candidates for any job. But we don't have that luxury, so let's move on and get this guy hired and go on to the next section, which is gonna indicate all the problems that the water department has.
I'd like to make a motion
Okay,
that we hire him.
thank you.
We're not,
I'm gonna abstain.
we're not, I won't, I disagree with you when you said we're desperate, but here's a man that, with the qualifications, for the sake of getting them transferred, and we can use the help.
Well, I'll second it then.
In the future, I would like to see 3 candidates on the table here, if possible.
Well, can I make a comment? Is it possible that one of these board members, one of these 3 guys here, can be part of that screening committee down there?
They're not, what they do is people submit a resume. Anybody that has the qualifications is forwarded to Mary Beth.
Okay, but
So
she
if we
said
have
they're
candidates,
getting,
I mean, we have, if we get 8 or 10 candidates and 2 have the qualifications and meet the preliminary needs by the, you know, the background checks and all that other stuff, then they give them to her. Now, I don't sit there and review, I'm on the personnel board, the personnel board doesn't sit there and review these things. What we do is, the personnel policy is that the applications are submitted to make, and the idea is, in the past, in a number of different situations, we've had people get hired for positions that didn't even meet the minimum qualifications. So, as a result of that, the personnel office reviews like they do in any private company. In other words, if you're a private company, the personnel office reviews the people that submit applications and resumes, and then they toss out the ones that don't meet the minimum applications or the minimum requirements, and then they move on. I mean, I realize, like I say, you all know how many people this department has gone through in the last few years. We don't have a great reputation, so therefore, to pull local people from, in the past, we've been able to pull candidates from other area towns. We pulled them from Byfield, Newburyport, et cetera, Georgetown. But at this point, other local towns, these people aren't looking to come to Rowley because of the situation we're in. So therefore, what we need to do is get the situation under control,
So we make
move
the
forward,
motion.
and then 2, 3, 4 years down the road, we'll have a good reputation, and then we'll hopefully have people lined up to come in here.
Stewie made the motion, and I second it. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the old business, water treatment plant update, Mary Beth will update the board.
As you know, well, December 31st seems to be rapidly approaching. That's the deadline to comply with the ACO. At this point, we are on track with meeting that goal. The Lane Corporation was in to redevelop the well field for the well number 5 well field. When they were doing that, they discovered that some of the transducers, that's the probes that are inside that measure the depth and report back information to the SCADA. We have, those transducers have been ordered, and we anticipate that they will be, in the next couple of weeks, should be installed. It's not like a stock item, so it took a little bit. They've been on order, but they've been ordered, and they'll be installed in the next week or so. The Paul Corporation will be on site the week of December 15th. Part of the process is they'll be on site to run a performance test on the filters. That's part of the contract to make sure that they're performing the way that they were intended to, and make sure that we're operating the plant the way we're supposed to be operating it. And also, final record drawings and documents are starting to come in for final review. And that's it. Any questions?
Did you talk about, was the fence finished?
Yes.
Anything else from you or anything?
Oh, I'm sorry, and I also included in your packet is the punch list. Most of it's ongoing, but it's the same, it hasn't changed, it's the same exact thing, it's just that most of that work on there is ongoing, that's why it keeps, we don't remove it until it's completely done.
And, old business, vote to set the lien criteria. 109 letters were sent out to customers who had accounts 60 days overdue. As of today at 6 p.m., there are still 71 remaining on the list. Comment?
How many are still on the list?
71.
38 people have paid. So the column that you're looking at on this spreadsheet is the column that says total over 60 with interest through December. That's the dollar amount that is still owed to the water department in the town.
What's the total over 60?
$53,468.91. Any comments from the board?
There's a stop date here of 12/31/9999. Is that supposed to be 2014?
Yeah, it must be.
Mr. Tony, which page are you looking at?
All the pages have a stop date of 9999. Is this a different spreadsheet
Oh, I
than we
see.
had last meeting?
No, it's the same spreadsheet. I did eliminate some columns because it was the extra, the 0 to 30, the 0 to, which we didn't need to look at. So I just
Okay.
gave what we were actually, this is the list that actually people that got letters, the 109, this is the remaining 71 that have not responded at all.
Myself, I'd like to see another notice sent out and hold off until after the holidays are done.
Well, that would be an ideal, however, this is something that has to happen this week. This has to go on the tax bill. The tax rate's gonna be set, the bills are gonna go out, and this has to be part of that. It cannot wait till after the holidays.
I'm not in favor of it.
Well, just, Mr. Chairman, just so you're aware, the town's tax rate is being held up, being set by the state because of water department issues like this, so I don't pretend to be an expert, I don't know what the details are, but at this point, that's what's holding up the tax rate being set, is the water department issues of revenue and,
I mean, there's a couple of businesses, and I know it's gotta be an oversight, one of them is our biggest water customer on here.
well, whatever the figures are, this is gonna be applied by the end of the year, so I mean, I'm not even sure you're gonna get any more money in before the end of the year, but these are the,
I have to go to wherever I have to go and physically place a lien on all of these properties, and
That's a lot of work. That's going
That's
down the
but that's the
registry of
only way to
deeds.
do, it's the only way to do it.
But getting back to what you said, that if our budget isn't equated into the tax base, Because it's an enterprise now? So why is it so important that this has to be done?
Because any shortage, any income that doesn't come in to justify the water department budget, the town, under the law, has to make up. So if you're $50,000 short, when the thing goes to the state takes that $50,000 out of the free cash of the town. So we back you up. In other words, if your revenues aren't high enough, if your expenses are too high, if you're running short, the town, we ran into this 2 or 3, 4 years ago, when the town had to come up with $100,000 out of its free cash to make up for those. So even though you're an independent enterprise fund, everything you do still goes through the town and is backed up by any shortages. The state will just take them out of these.
Once you put down a lien on a property, is that guaranteed that the money's there?
Well, it's either,
Yeah.
if they want to remove the lien, they have to pay the bill plus all the fees involved. So it's generally the light department, and Bob may have more information on it, but the light department finds that when they place liens, people pay.
Yes.
Well, part of the problem here is it's been so long since the water department's really been serious about collecting some of these back fees. People, we get a letter, they look, yeah, what's it matter? We've gotten letters before, nobody does anything, so why pay? So, I mean, there may be some legitimate hardships in there too, but a legitimate hardship can come down, talk to Mary Beth, or talk to the treasurer, and with the light department, if you got a hardship, then you set up a payment plan, pay $20 a month or so, but I mean, to just ignore the bills is serious business. And it's serious because it affects the town's ability to set the tax rate at this point.
Have these people been properly notified? Because they're gonna have a lien on by a certain date? And then was it 71, or how many liens you gonna do?
There's 71. Well, there's 71 on the list. We sent out 109 letters letting people know they were 60 days overdue and they needed to pay whatever the dollar amount was in their letter
Yeah.
by today. We are actually giving, because December 2nd goes till 11:59, so we're giving people the benefit of the doubt that perhaps maybe they might come in. Tomorrow morning when I come in, I'm going to check our Dropbox, check the treasurer's Dropbox. I have a conference call with Penachuk Terra at 10:30 to give them time. Their mail arrives at 9:30 in the morning, to give them time to go through their mail, to make sure that there wasn't, just because of the slowness of the mail with the holiday mail picking up, this list might shrink. It could go down to 50 tomorrow, I don't know, but whatever's left on here, the board needs to make a decision tonight so that I can move forward this.
Well, do you need our signatures on the lien
I need it,
documents?
no, what I need is, you have to tell me what you want me to do. You have to set the criteria, whether it's everything over $10, place a lien. Everything over $50, place a lien. You have to tell me what you want me to do. And then from there, and after we go through that series of the final checks and balances in the mail tomorrow, a new list will be generated, and whatever's left on that list, I have to go down and file a lien. It's gonna take me most of the day to do this.
What did we do last year?
What we did do last year, if my memory's correct, I believe it was
$500.
over $500. I'm not about to vote to put a lien on somebody for a couple $100 or $50 a year. I think it's their oversight.
How many over $500?
50.
On the first page.
It's about 38. Over 500.
Yeah, I don't think we did much more than, must have been 7 or 8 last year, right?
I think there were 9.
Right. So this is quite a bit. Is this because we're a little bit late getting things out? Because we were faced with the same crunch deadline, which is December last year. So did we get these notices out? When did we get the notices out last year?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Somewhere around this time.
I don't know, it's up to you, Mr. Chair, what do you want to do?
I come up with 31. Over 500. Any recommendation from the board?
Like I said, I told you how I felt.
I think we ought to do what we did last year, that's all I can say.
I do have a question. Selectman Peterson, when the town reimburses the water department for the deficit, if we don't go this route, and takes it out of the free cash, the water department at some point has to pay back that money. Is that correct?
I don't know, I'm not familiar enough with it to tell you what it does and what it doesn't do. I'm not sure what, all I know is that because of water department issues, the tax rate's being held up, and that's from Sean, the assessor, and the treasurer. Now, what exactly is involved, I don't know. And at this point, whatever it is, it may be that way anyway, because if you're gonna put liens on, you're not gonna collect this money between now and the end of the year. But I think it's probably part of the issue is that you really have to show the state that you're doing something to get these accounts paid, and liens is, the municipal liens is what is the way to do it. It's what the light department does, and it's the only way we really have to force people without taking everybody individually to court. You put a lien on their property, and when they sell the property, or they can't sell it, that's when they'll pay up. And if you've got 30-odd people that owe over $500, if they're households, it's obviously a long-standing problem. It isn't someone that just forgot to pay this, $50 or something this 1 month, but and I haven't looked closely at the list you got, I don't have it here, but, it's an ongoing problem, and to me, if you say $500 and $500, I mean, I agree with Stu that, for $50 or $100, you're not gonna put a lien in their property, but, 500, and, maybe a business, I don't know if there's any businesses on there that get a monthly bill for 500. That, I don't know if that's true, but, if you get, these people gotta pay their bills, because your people's revenue depends on these people paying their bills. And like I say, if someone or a company has problems because of an emergency or some kind of a disastrous situation, they can't pay, then they need to come to the town and say, we can't pay it, because the town is, I know the treasurer is more than happy to set up payment plans to help people through tough times. We all can run into a tough time, so we're not trying to take anybody's property. We're just trying to collect the revenue that's for the water that they've used.
Mr. Chairman, I would vote yes if we follow last year's policy, which was anything above 500, I think. That's a recollection of mine, too.
Do we have enough time?
Because the other thing, this is one last point to make here, these are accounts that are overdue by 60 days, so I mean, these are long delinquent, as well as over 60 days, plus they owe $500, so you put those two things together, and there's serious issues at this point, because the rest of us are paying for these people that don't pay. Those of us that do pay our bills are.
I see we have another meeting on the 16th. Is it possible that we can call these people and give them?
I have to do this week. The
I'm against.
assessor has to, we've been working on this since last week. We've got to get this done. He's under the gun to get things in, and we are holding up him doing his job. He's, working with the Department of Revenue. We have to make a decision tonight, unfortunately, Chairman Ricker.
No, we're not taking these people's houses tomorrow. What we're doing is putting a lien
No,
on
it's
the
just,
property.
Well, I see some names here, Dave, that obviously I wouldn't expect that they would have a problem paying. And maybe they have a problem with some of their mailing addresses or something like that. I don't know, but.
Well, like I say, They must be getting their monthly bill, because you're not getting the bills back undeliverable. So, you know,
Well, they may have not got the
you'll
bill.
soon find out, if you put liens on the property, they notify, they got a lien, you'll be banging the door down here. But I mean, just, you gotta make a decision and go forward with it. If you did $500 last year, and you had 9 or 10, and you got 30 plus this year for $500, I'm not sure what the problem is, and
Well,
none of us are, but it's
Excuse me.
time for these people to pay.
The electric department has already taken action, okay, and put liens on and move forward, okay? And they've had people been paying up, I think only a few customers, so they have taken action.
Comments?
And in order to run a business, this is what you have to do.
Over $500, that was it seems last year, right?
Okay.
I believe Tim said the same thing.
Are we gonna make a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll make the motion, provided that we get somebody calling these people to see if they got the right addresses. There's some people here that could obviously, they haven't got their bill in the mail, you know? If you look closely at this list, you'll notice that. But anyways, I'll second that. I think we ought to make one more effort to try to contact them. I think if you search on some of these names, you'll see that some of these names have like 10 bills. There's gonna be some reason why they're not,
Well, if they turn this spigot on, they have to have, they realize it's not a free lunch, they have to
I know.
know where the water department is.
But going forward, we're gonna be faced with the same decision next year. So I'm thinking that it's entirely possible that we haven't been putting the pressure on quick enough here, early enough. And that's why we got so many here that are in trouble.
I think it's time to move on, we took
Okay, I have a motion, and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
For $500.
All in favor? All in favor?
Yes. Next on the old business is vote to set a fee for return checks. Currently, the water department does not charge return checks. Each time this happens, the water department is charged a return check fee. The Raleigh Lake Department charges $25 for the return checks. Mary Beth will read the policy.
Any check which is returned to the water department for insufficient funds will be subject to the statutory penalty as outlined in Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 60, 57A. The penalty is 1% of the face value of the check with a minimum charge of $25.
Minimum of $25?
$25.
Is it over and above the fee for the bounce check?
No, it would be the $25.
So it'd be $25, okay.
That's a penalty.
Yes, that's the penalty. And I included in your packet, Mass General Law 57, Chapter 60, 57, so you can see where it came from.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to accept this policy?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Should we do that, old business and new business, so.
That's been going on.
I know.
So we want to read on
So,
old business.
old business.
Old business.
I have a letter here that was given to me, and it's been an ongoing problem under old business. Resident on Hammond Street.
Chairman Ricker,
Yep.
it's not on the agenda.
It's under old business. This has been going on for 6 months, Mary Beth, and the people are having problems, and they want to
Chairman
get
Ricker, it's
straightened out.
not under old business. We have 3 items under old business, and we've talked about all 3. I'm just letting
It's
you
been
know.
going on for 6 months.
Yeah, Beth, that was going on before you came.
I understand that, but we have an agenda to stick to. We had 3 items.
Yes,
Not
but this is
4.
old business, and the people sent a letter, and they want to try and get this taken care of. And it's not right for the people to keep on
We need to talk
Yes.
about it at the December 16th meeting. We can put it on the agenda for then. It's not on the agenda.
Why you come? New business. Flushing the water mains, discuss the schedule.
The Raleigh Water Department is starting to flush fire hydrants this evening. We'll be out on the Pingree Farm Road, Havel Street, heading towards Route 95 and Main Street. And you can get more information on the Town of Raleigh's website, or...
This is tonight.
Yes.
It's kind of cold out there to do flushing, isn't it?
We need to flush. We still have issues, field and water quality issues, and the system hasn't been flushed.
What happens if the water gets on the street and freezes?
I have the highway department on board, ready to sand the roads and salt the roads.
Okay.
So I just wanted to, we had this, it's advertised in, I put it out to be advertised in the local newspaper. It's posted, we have the signs posted in town, where we usually post the water ban signs. We have those posts, so we just, with the same signs, but we put up the flushing. If anybody has any questions, they can certainly call the water department. During the time of the flushing, there's a few things that you might experience. You might experience discolored water. It's not, it doesn't affect the quality, it just, the taste, it just affects the appearance of the water. The water could appear milky, that's just air bubbles in the water when you go to turn on your faucet. I would avoid doing wash and laundry during the scheduled flushing times. You may experience a drop in water pressure, but it will be temporary. Or you could also experience an increased smell of chlorine, taste, and odor. And the full schedule for the entire flushing program is also on the town website. So if you go there or call the water department, we can tell you where we may be, so you can make preparation.
Hey, Beth, in all due respect, I respectfully disagree with flushing them now unless you watch the temperature. We don't want to be looking for accidents.
I agree. I follow, normally I wouldn't flush in the month of December, but based upon what we've been experiencing over the last few months, I made the decision to flush. We are gonna be taking extra precautions to avoid putting the water in the roadways. I've worked with the highway surveyor. We're gonna have somebody who's here tonight who's gonna be taking care of the roads. We're gonna stay on top of it. We're gonna be minimizing the flow in the roads.
I understand that, but salt's expensive. Had to put out all the salt in the road.
That's it?
New business, Pingree Farm Road, short-term, long-term plan for access. Both to transfer money to cover costs, perform maintenance. Mary Beth will update the board.
The access road to the new treatment plant is just a dirt road. Over the course of the last few months, the condition of the road has been deteriorating quite rapidly. With the heavy rains that we experienced last week and with the last couple of weeks, the road is really becoming impassable. It's becoming a safety issue. We have the chemical delivery trucks that the tractor trailer is coming to make the chemical deliveries, and the drivers are starting to complain about the condition of the road. And at some point, and I have seen this happen, they could refuse to deliver us the chemical, and if that happens, we will be unable to treat the water, and we won't be able to run the treatment plant. The temporary solution is to get in there, get some pricing, get in there and just do a grading to get us through the winter with a long-term plan of paving the road from Havel Street all the way into the treatment plant. I don't know why it wasn't done with the...
I was told 5 years ago there was nothing wrong with it, because I told them the same thing, that it needed to be taken care of. And when Weston and Sampson were here, they said there was nothing wrong with the road. Been nothing but a cow path for my whole lifetime. Should have been done all in the whole thing when we did it.
Right, and I agree. And so if you happen to be up there, you can see for yourself the condition of the road. It's a concern. I mean, it's an accident waiting to happen. The trees are right on the road line. There's nowhere for us to plow the snow back, so the road is pretty flat. So when we go to plow, even if we're winging it off to the left or right, there's nowhere for the snow to drop off. It's all gonna stay there. And over time, no matter what we do, we're gonna be spending the winter chasing removal of snow with the backhoe up there. And, and delivery trucks aren't gonna be able to get in. So with that, in preparation of the short-term fix, I have requested with the Conservation Commission an emergency permit. We are gonna be, any excavation that's done in a conservation or wetlands, there is a stream there. We need to have a permit. It's nothing, I'm gonna take care of all of that. It's the right way to do things. So in your packet is a letter that I drafted up with to the Conservation Commission with the project. And we do have an easement for maintenance on that road, which I've attached for the board to see. And actually, the Conservation Commission is also meeting tonight, so I'm sure that if they've made a decision on this, that I'll be hearing in the next day or so from the Conservation Commission. And then we'll move forward with scheduling it and getting this done.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that contingent on the Conservation Commission's approval, that we have the road graded with some material added. Is it just estimate?
This is the only estimate, yeah.
The estimate that you have in front of you is for $5,400. However, this was submitted to me prior to, this is not prevailing wage. We have to pay prevailing wages for this type of work, and this came in. What I'm asking the board to transfer is $15,000 from the unforeseen maintenance. This is money that's already appropriated in the existing budget. I'm just asking permission to transfer it from the emergency fund, the emergency unforeseen, to the maintenance line under the water treatment plant. This is for the sole purpose of taking care of this road. Right now, there's no money to take care of the road in the treatment plant budget itself,
Who can authorize that transfer?
the selectmen, because it's within the budget. Just a line from a line.
I think we should wait and see what the conservation has to say, man.
If the Conservation Commission votes tonight and we get the okay, I'll be starting to work on this week.
Mary Beth, I don't understand. There's an estimate here.
Yes.
And if you add the prevailing wage, it doesn't come out 3 times.
I don't know what it's gonna come up. This is what I got, and I didn't have a chance because this came in last minute.
We're gonna need at least 3 bids too, but it's up to,
No, we don't. We don't need to get 3.
yes, we do.
I can get 3, if that's what you'd like.
Yeah, we had to have 3. Can't do that without that kind of
No,
money.
if it's under 10,000, do best business practice.
Every time
Laws
they add,
been
the separate one's gonna be
revised.
over there.
You
They
still need
changed the
3
5
more.
to 10. They changed the 5 to 10?
Yeah.
We changed the law change.
Now, did you look into seeing if this SRF money, is there any SRF money that's still available for this project?
There is.
Is there any chance that you could see if the SRF could take care of this?
I can. But that will hold up things. What we're dealing with right now is.
I don't think it's gonna hold things up, I'm sorry to interrupt you. These things can go
It
pretty
has to be
fast.
presented to the DEP. We have to get approval from the DEP to allocate whatever funds we're looking for. When I mean we're running out of time is that in order to excavate it, it has to be done before the frost sets in and the ground freezes. It could be a couple of weeks before I hear back from the DEP.
I'm not talking, I'm thinking on the lines that we ought to just do an emergency thing right now, is do gravel, you know, if you wanted to do excavation. But
You
The gravel,
you don't want to put the gravel just over the mud because it,
Could be dug out, get down below the clay and.
exactly, or you'll have the same thing again.
But I'd like to
Every
see
time.
more than just one bid.
And then if we go SRF, you'd have to go 3 bids too, so.
I would-
You'd have to have the contract.
What I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, is to get this project expedited, the board needs to vote to transfer. You don't have to accept this bid as far as I can see, but you need to appropriate, request the Board of Selectmen. I would say, I'm not sure where the 15,000 comes from, but, you know, if that's the low bid without prevailing wage, I would guess that, you know, you're not gonna get over 10,000. I would request at least, say 10,000 transfer, because that'll go before the Board of Selectmen
I mean,
next week.
we've been
And
talking
we
about,
can okay it next week, and then, you know, if it takes you, because like what she says is we're riding the tide here, because so far we're lucky that, you know, there's very little, if any, frost in the ground. And from talking to the contractor that submitted the bid, myself, it's gotta be done within the next couple of weeks, so you know, hopefully we won't get any hard freezes before then, because the longer we wait, the more of a problem you're gonna have, so.
Well,
You know, if you can go back and get the SRF money, it's fine, but I mean, it's just,
when they close the event.
once again, things need to move because time is of the essence here. It's sad that we're having to operate this way, but, you know, we're trying to play catch-up, and once again, as the chairman says, why it wasn't done in the original project, I don't know, but that road out there is got a 6 mile an
I
hour.
said that when we started the whole
Yeah, it's got a
operation.
6 mile an hour speed
Yeah.
limit. If you go 6 miles an hour out there, you're gonna break your car.
But Barbara Brooks said there was something wrong with it.
Yeah,
I said,
well-
well,
We're in a predicament.
The other thing I forgot to mention is, I also spoke with the procurement officer, and she reminded me that with this project, the contractor will have to carry a general liability with limits of 1 million per occurrence and 2 million general aggregate and workers' comp. So those types of additional policies on the job, that's will reflect. So not knowing where it was gonna come in, adding with the prevailing wages to this, plus this additional rider on her policy,
we're gonna be over 10.
I would ask for the 15, only just because I don't really know, and if it's not used, the board can just say that's, the money transfer is solely for the project, or whatever's left, we just don't spend.
They have the insurance anyway.
But this might be additional for them.
I'll make a motion that we approve $8,000. That's going up 2,600, that'll cover your own prevailing wage from this estimate.
Do I have a second?
I'm still wondering why it's such an emergency, because we've been going down that road since we opened that pump house up.
Pretty nasty, yeah.
So
Timmy,
this has really gone really bad?
Timmy,
When was the
we-
last time, Mr. Toomey, you rode down that road? You've been down there the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I did. I
Can I
didn't see it much, I saw some potholes and stuff, but
you know what clay sand is? We've
Yep.
had rain, we've had frost, and then the frost comes out of the ground. What do you have? That much mud.
well, it's gonna get, the mud's gonna be a problem as opposed to the potholes.
That's why we want some material put in there. Scrape it out, put in some material.
I have a motion from Stu for 8,000.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Vote on the policy for citizen query. The suggestion was made by Selectman Snow at a previous meeting, and I thought it would be a good idea to get some guidelines for the board. This policy is similar to what the selectmen go by. Mary Beth will now read the policy.
Members of the public can use this time to ask a question or comment on a matter affecting the water department, as opposed to state or federal issues. The topics need to be on local, regional water issues. The citizen query portion of the meeting cannot be used to endorse candidates running for office or to endorse ballot questions or as forum to discuss election issues. The citizen query portion of the meeting cannot be used by members of the public to attack either professionally or personally town officials or employees. The Board of Water Commissioners cannot deliberate and vote on matters brought up during the citizen query portion of the agenda. The board can place a matter or issue brought up during the citizen query portion of the agenda on a future meeting agenda. The citizen query agenda item will be opened by the chairman and closed 15 minutes later. Citizens may speak for a period of time not to exceed approximately 5 minutes.
We talked about it, just after it was brought up
Mhm.
at that meeting, and you said, Debbie said that we shouldn't put it on yet. Have we talked to her since?
We're getting ready, so this would be the first step is to,
So this is
have
a
some
draft
guidelines.
for,
this is some guidelines for the board to follow. If the board adopts this, then at some point in the future, we'll be adding citizens query to our regular prepared agenda.
no, I mean, you were saying that
Yeah.
Debbie suggested we didn't do it at that time, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Talk to her.
I'm a firm believer, anyone comes through that door has a right to ask a question and speak. You
Yep.
can't vote on it, but they have a right to speak. So therefore, I'll make a motion to vote on this policy.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, on under new business, abatement request for Road Ave. We have a request for an abatement from Elizabeth Hagan of 24 Road Ave. She had a leaky toilet which has been repaired.
This has been going on for some time, and the lady had it repaired in a timely fashion after she found out there was a leak, and the reason it went on is it did because the water department failed to keep a couple of appointments. I'm not blaming you, Mary Beth, you have two hands, so therefore, I'll make a motion that we grant the abatement.
So the abatement would be in the amount of $121.21. In your packet, you have a spreadsheet, which is how we calculate the abatement process. And what we do is we take a look at 1 year prior normal usage in the same time period as the leak. If you look in the package for the abatement, and you look at this page right here, if you look down, it's a full year's worth of water usage. So I look back down on the list to the time frame of the leak, which is the biggest leak, which is September and July. I'm sorry, August and July. And we look back in the same time period, and then this is a policy that was followed, that the water board voted on, how we calculate it.
The average
So it's
now,
half. So it comes to $121.21, which would be the abatement. That's what you need to vote on, to give the abatement of $121.21.
It looks like she had a problem back in June.
it's been going on, that's why I said, I'm not blaming Mary Beth, this has been going on and on. Trying to get somebody down there, things, when they discovered the leak, she had to fix promptly.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we grant the abatement in the amount of $121.21, I believe.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Confirm coliform monitoring violation, water superintendent advises the board.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to me. I received this in the mail, via certified mail from the Mass DEP. For violation of the total coliform rule, we didn't have any detects of coliform or bacteria in the water. This again is another violation of a non-compliance for sampling. We failed to sample in the month of October for bacteria, routine bacteria samples that we collect every month, and it didn't get done. That's the same thing that happened with the lead and copper samples. Did not get collected in the quarter they were due. The manganese samples didn't get collected in the quarter that they were due. So there'll be more violations coming, and as they come in, I'll bring them to the board. I'm working to correct them. These are considered a tier 3 violation. For public notification wise, it's just a matter of, we didn't sample. It's a tier 3. It will be reported in the CCR, the annual consumer confidence report.
Yeah, but it's the primary operator is responsible for making sure this stuff is getting sampled, is that
That's-
correct?
Yes, that's correct,
And then the oversight is the superintendent.
yes.
And so how many of these missed sampling events have we had so far?
3,
And when were they?
I'm sorry, 4, we had rate on 4. They were all due in Q3, which was July to October.
Okay. Is there a sampling schedule somewhere that,
Yes, there is.
is this gonna happen again?
No, it is not. I'm working with the DEP, responding to each of these complaints as they come in. I'll be sending a response of what the water department's gonna do. Part of the letter, there's a certification form that I have to fill out. And I just check a box, sign my name to it, and I send it off. Just letting them know I'll be doing public notification, the consumer conference report. The only one that really is going to, time-wise, is the lead and copper rule. Raleigh Water Department was on reduced monitoring, and that's one of those regulations where we have to rely on the customer to collect samples, where we have to drop bottles off, because in order to get a representative sample, it has to be first draw. So we can't collect that sample, so if somebody gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, we can't collect the sample. That's why we rely on this. We drop bottles with instructions and a chain of custody for them to fill out. We have to go around after we drop them and pick them up, and then we bring them to the lab. We were on reduced monitoring for 20 samples. Because we did not comply and we failed the sample, we are now, it's like you have to start all over again. So we are up to 40 samples, which I just finished picking up the last sample today. We collected 40 samples, and in 6 months we'll have to do it all over again until the DEP says you can go back down to reduced monitoring. So that's the only repercussion on that one, as far as those are concerned. But you know, it's a concern. I mean, we have an ACO with the state and the DEP, and now we have these are certified mails notification that they're violations of the drinking water regulations, and that's, I'm concerned about that. So, but it won't happen again.
So how does this impact our budget?
I just got the bill for the samples. I think it's I think it was about $700 or $800. I'm around there for lead and copper sampling, which we're doing now, and the next round will be in June, and it will hit in this budget, another $800 for samples.
And what about the extra houses that they're gonna sample? What's that gonna cost?
We had to do 40 now. That was, I can get you that information. I'm not sure what they actually billed, but we just got a bill from the lab for lead and copper, and it was around 800. I'll have to see how many it is, but I can get you that.
Well, I'm more concerned about, we budgeted very closely so we could keep our rates down. So the analytical costs, we kind of really went through that very carefully. So you got to look at that budget item with the analytical cost to see if that's impacted with this. Or do we, I can't remember if we had any kind of buffer on that.
If there wasn't, if it's necessary, then I will be coming before the board to ask to transfer money from the unforeseen line to the lab sample line to cover that. I will take a look at that for you, Mr. Toomey.
Anything else on that? Anything else on
Oh, no, that's it, unless the board has any other questions.
that? So, done. Next meeting's gonna be December 16th, 6 o'clock. Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, I'd like to ask one more thing here, before we adjourn. I've given the board here a letter requesting information, and I got a response. It's gonna cost over $380 for me to,
Excuse me, Mr. Toomey, that is not on the agenda tonight.
okay.
We can't talk about that.
This meeting is the Board of Water Commissioners meeting. It's not the superintendent's meeting.
It's
So
not on the
I'm
agenda.
gonna bring it up anyway. I'm gonna bring it up anyway, because I want it on the next agenda. I don't want this board to deliberate, I want them just to put it on the agenda. And I want an answer on this. I have tried to get this information, it's kind of ridiculous, but I'm trying to get this information, I'm getting so much crap about it. So I would like it on the next agenda, to bring up this subject of causing, you know, the cost of, you know, getting information I should have gotten 3 months ago. You know, I want that on the agenda to discuss it. I don't want this to be a deliberation right now. I want it to be brought up on the next agenda. Can we have that on the next agenda?
That's up to the chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Roy, for considering it.
Pete? Anything else?
Nope.
So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I made the move.
Do I have a
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.